You specialize in not only patent search and drafting, but also in IP strategy for startups. So, help us through what should a startup look for in terms of having their IP portfolio, any recommendations, and any interesting experience in your career working with a startup.
Yeah, so when started my journey as a consultant or as a business owner, I would like to anecdote one very interesting thing. Like my first client or one of the first clients, he came up with an idea, and we worked a lot. Initial discussions. He told me lot of things like I'm planning this patent, and these are my things, like this material I'm going to use. I want people to, like, it is a fitness machine. It is a granted patent now, so I can reveal it. So,
Okay.
like, initially, what material he was planning, it is a small fitness machine which can be used at home also. So, what was his idea behind? Like, people during COVID, people were not able to go to the gym. So, his idea was like people can buy this machine and can do all activities on it, or in a briefcase they can take it anywhere. So it should be a lightweight machine, right? But the material which he was going to use, which was slowly making it heavy. So we did a lot of initial discussions, and then we accordingly drafted patent, like it should be commercialized in future properly, and patent should also be granted. So this thing is very interesting, like strategizing his patent as well as in future how he can commercialize and what other things he can make into the patent. So like part 2 IP is going to complete 3 years in July, and we have already filed 3 patents. Two are already granted, and
Great.
third is in process. So this is how he is building his IP portfolio with the help of us. So it's a win-win situation for both of us. Like we are also giving our inputs, and he is also getting benefited with our experience and his expertise in technology and our expertise in IP strategy. So this is one anecdote I can recall on that. Otherwise, uh, there is one more example. Recently, we have filed like one trademark first for that idea, and then it is slowly converting in a patent also. It's a formulation patent, like trademark is already there, patent is going to be there, and then they put together, and then they will uh, sell it. So idea is already there, like they will commercialize it, but IP should be properly protected in advance. So this is also one thing. So as Pooja has mentioned, like innovation and IP go hand in hand, and this is how we strategize the products or like IP strategy of a company. So this is one thing.
Great. Yeah, that's a very good example of the collaboration between an inventor or innovator with IP team. So IP team definitely is of prime value in order to commercialize the IP as well as commercialize product by endorsing the IP and by asserting the IP, I guess. Yeah, thank you, Nidhi. That was a very good example, real life example. Uh, Gauri, I'll pick the same point from Nidhi's conversation. You are also helping startups, being the IP Mitra and being part of the SIPP program by Government of India to help startups and innovators in their IP strategy. Please share any interesting story from your experience that can portray for our audience how significant IP strategy is and how they could benefit from current government schemes.
Yeah, okay. So, as a SIPP facilitator, my role is centered on empowering startups to leverage the benefit of SIPP scheme and to safeguard their intellectual property assets effectively. And this flagship program initiation of the Government of India, administered by DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and it aims to bolster innovation and entrepreneurship by providing financial and legal assistance support for IP protection. So only the minimum statutory fees need to be provided by means of the startup, and other fees it is provided by the government, like attorney fees.
Oh,
And regarding the experience in my journey, it is I want to quote the foldable baby birth, which is the groundbreaking innovation, and it is a designed baby birth and was introduced in a coach number 194229 before birth number 12 and 16 in the Lucknow Mail, uh,
okay.
providing a secure and convenient space for mothers and infants during their train journey. And this
Okay.
innovation, it is nothing but securing the human rights for mothers with babies. And it's really a good experience to help the client to get their patent rights, and also to get the patent to the market.
Yes. That's a very interesting example. I mean, real life product that we can see, and definitely it reaches as many people, literally $1 billion touch point, right? Billion touch points, reaching everyone who commutes through trains. Thank you, Gauri. That's an interesting example for everyone here in the audience to visualize how IP translates into a product. And that is my next question. But before that, let me conclude on the government schemes. Definitely, the government of India is doing a great job there. We had 1 lakh patents granted in the matter of 12 months, uh, last 12 months. So that's a matter of pride for all of us. And another interesting thing is there were equal number of new patent applications in the 12 months, about 83,000. So definitely something to feel pride about as a nation. And that also tells us about how IP is important in the society and how government is trying to endorse that. So on that note, yeah, another interesting addition recently is women inventors, when they are part of the IP application, there is expedited search and expedited examination. So you get faster approval. So that's an interesting scheme that government rolled out to make it more inclusive, because women inventors were close to 12% globally, and even in India, it's less than 12%, in fact. So I think this is an interesting uh, uh, appreciation by the government to ensure that it is a more inclusive ecosystem. Thank you, Gauri. So my next question would be uh, to understand how I mean, if you have to recommend the young people attending the meet today to become IP professionals, what would be your message, and how to go about figuring out where to study, what to study, and how to get a license as registered patent agent or trademark agent or registered technology transfer specialist? Pooja, I'll take your thoughts first on your message on getting into the IP profession.
Well, Amrita, I'll tell them to wait for my book, which is coming up, uh, and that will help them in knowing how to choose a career in IP. But jokes apart, there is a video which I have recently done to help people understand, because I have been getting these questions: how do we get into IP? How do we get into patents? It's quite interesting. So I did bit of try to answer those questions, but it's very difficult to give a generic answer, because as a career, every person's path would differ, and you already have certain skills and you need to acquire some skills to get into it. Plus, there are some personal experiences which also help you in this particular journey. But yes, the most important thing is to first finish off at least a master level education. Don't forget your education. You need science to get into patent. So strengthen yourself, have that master level of education, be it engineering or science or a combination of both. Or even if you're a PhD, it's a good thing. So that would help you in this journey. And it is also required for the patent agent exam. They need a science graduate to sit for it. So to get be a patent agent, you need to be a science graduate, but I would advise to at least cross that bridge and do a master's also. And then the other thing that you need to look into when you are looking in a career for IP or patents in specific, you need to have patience. You can't build Rome in a day. You have to work on it slowly and slowly, acquire these skills over the period of time. You have to invest time into yourself and also in getting the things right. So if you think that you have worked for 1 month in IP and patents and then you would like to open up your own company and be the boss, I'm sorry, that's not going to work. You'll have to slog a bit, learn things to be in a position to help others. You can't teach what you don't know yourself. So learn yourself first and then get into the business of helping others. This is what I would like to say.
That's very helpful advice, definitely. And you touched upon the eligibility criteria as well in your. So, Tithi, any further advice for young minds who are seeking career path?
So, like advice on the similar line, I believe whenever anyone is planning to enter an IP field, think always like an innovator, because IP can be protected for innovations, and if you are not thinking from that perspective, it's difficult to cover those aspects which need to be protected. So innovator mind is very important in this, and a very important skill is also communication. Like in IP field, you always connect with innovators, researchers, and if you are not able to communicate your questions to them, and you are not able to understand their problem which they want to solve, in that case it is really very difficult. So communication is very important factor. Also one more thing, like I have recently started seeing, like I got lot of I get lot of resumes from like LLB people or law graduates. So like BS, they are bachelors, but as a like just a bachelor degree and entering in IP field is not that criteria which is required for this field, because law knowledge, patent law or IP law can be learned slowly when you start working on innovations or inventors invention. Because I also was not graduate like a law graduate, I slowly learned this patent law or trademark law or some other countries' law. I came to know about this, but the basic knowledge was like science. Like I am from pharma or chemistry background, but slowly I started learning about engineering inventions also. So that learning thing is very important in this field. You always learn something new every day. So that perspective is very important for this field. Rather than being a specific graduate from any specific branch. So this is I wanted to highlight, and any other specific question if you want to address from me, like, so I can answer.
Sure. I think, yeah, you touched upon it very well, I guess. So it's almost like a self-discovery exercise. But what needs to be there is the inclination to give in the best, despite the educational background. But there are few eligibility criteria. So that's the summary, I guess. So, Gauri, I'll pick up on the same question. Um, You've had your self-discovery journey, being a student of mechanical engineering, then being placed in a very premium organization, and then making your journey into IP. So, what is your advice for the young people who are trying to see if IP is the way for them?
So, for those people who want to enter into the IP, as IP is now known to each and every person, because the awareness part from the government is very carried out in very good way. But it is not good always to go in the IP. So we need to go to any career. Before that, we need to look at ourselves, that is we are our goals and our things are aligned to it or not. So, firstly, I will suggest that to go for a SWOT analysis for themselves, and then they consider, is it aligning. If it is aligning, then I will give the advice. So, my advice to those who want to go in the field of IP, that to read more. Firstly, the reading is the essential thing. The science things need to be considered well. Also, one more important line I would like to quote, that is, imagination uh, is more important than the knowledge. But in the field of IP, both things are very important. Imagination is also important, and knowledge is also important. When you have a blend of both these things, and when you want to learn the new things, then and then only come into this field, because in each and every day you will get a new project, the new invention from a different field. So if you don't have a knowledge of that field, so you need to learn that things first, and then after you have to consider and imaginate it, how it is working, is it really workable or not. So sometimes the clients comes to me, and they are saying that we want to make this, uh, this is a patent, and we want to go for a patent filing. When I look at this, just only looking to the drawings, I will tell them that it is not patentable, sir, because it is not workable. Because the basic
Okay.
principles of nature are not, we cannot avoid that, right?
Yes.
So there are so many things are needed. If you want to go in the IP, then your administration qualities are there, leadership qualities need to be there. Also, your drafting skills need to be there. Your networking part is also need to be improved. Also, the English speaking or other languages you need to know, because there is one client from Rajasthan, and I'm unable to understand his knowledge, his language.
Mhm.
So you need to gauge your client very well, and also you need to gauge the people very well. So this is also important thing. In case of IP, imagination, knowledge, networking to the good people, making the relationship with clients, and also continuous learning. It is always the part. Whatever your age doesn't doesn't matter.
Yes. Uh, that's very interesting. So, agility is what you endorse. Be agile uh, to take in any work, and that can be backed up with heavy research on the subject area to understand and empathize with the inventor, and that can be translated into a very good IP registration. So,
Yes.
definitely, that's very
And
well put.
also,
Huh.
yeah, one thing I would like to tell to you, that if you have a quality to say no to the things, then also it is beneficial, because there is always you need to be choosy regarding things. Suppose one thing is not patentable or innovative, so you have that courage to say to the client directly that no sir, it is not patentable, or iska kuch matlab nahi hai. So in that way we need to say. So these things or these qualities need to be imbibed in once you want to go for the IP.
Yeah. So being able to be objective, and then being able to communicate that without hesitation are also personality traits either we have to have or we have to embody upon taking the career. Definitely, I resonate with that. And these are the same qualities needed to understand an invention which is not on the face of the earth, because we are talking about something which is not on the face of the earth, and that comes with objectivity, heavy research, and ability to say no and be honest with the client. Definitely, Gauri. I think you summed it up very well. With that, I think let me open the forum for questions from the audience. Um, yeah, we have participants from student ecosystem, from startup ecosystem, and people who are IP enthusiasts. So, participants, do you have questions? It was very interesting talking about real life examples from all the three professionals. So, any further question to understand the career path or the synergy between IP and product? Any questions?
Hi, is there any, this is Mohan. Is there any entities who support financially for creating IP in India?
Thanks, Thanks, Mohan. Anybody wants to take that question?
So
Nidhi,
you
can you
want
repeat
to,
the question?
So the question was, is there financial assistance for creating IP in India specifically?
Gauri, you want to take this question?
No, no, Nidhi, you just take it.
So, regarding entity, I would not like to comment on that. I have no idea about entity, but yeah, government is supporting. If you are a startup, then government is supporting, is providing IP facilitator. They provide refund for filing patents or trademarks to IP facilitator. They give you IP facilitator to you, like they will help you in registering your IP, and then further that IP facilitator can uh, take the refund from government. So in this way, financial support is there. But regarding financial entity, would not like to comment. But there are certain channels where you can take, like Maharashtra also like has some initiatives under which you can take uh, some incentives or something like this. My clients have taken that advantage, but I am not aware about that.
Okay, I can add a
Thank you.
bit on this, I guess. Uh,
I'll add on
yeah.
to.
So, yeah, Pooja, you want to go? I'll conclude it later.
So I want to add that there are schemes where they support innovators through the innovation challenges, where you can submit your ideas, and if it is selected, then that would be funded. It could be through government, it could also be through corporates who do it under the CSR activities. And in
Yeah.
Maharashtra, recently, just last week, they have announced a scheme where they're supporting startups and innovators by offering the finance for filing applications. They have certain requirements and
Criterias.
terms and conditions connected with
Okay.
it. And there are schemes in other states also where they support innovators in filing the applications, but again, each one of them have their own terms and conditions.
Okay. Uh, Yeah, on similar lines, the government of Karnataka reimburses every penny for even national and international patents. This is true for every state, I guess. But tomorrow I'm hosting an inventor, Miss Sri Lakshmi Desi Raju from pharmacy and biotechnology background. She's an inventor who has reimbursement for her patent in 22 countries, and she heavily advocates for getting your IP done because she got every penny reimbursed. So that's an interesting example. I'm hosting her tomorrow. Please be there as well. That's a real life example of how there is monetary benefit and monetary assistance by government.
So yeah, here I would like to highlight one thing. Reimbursement happens, but it takes time. So
Yes, yes.
there we have to be patient.
Correct. It is after the fact, right? After the grant.
Yes.
So that is
Yeah.
something patient intensive, I
Like
guess.
it may be
One
two
has to.
or 3 years,
Yeah.
4 5 years thing, but yeah, in reimbursement happens.
Thank you, Nidhi. If we have
So
any other
I would
question?
like, yeah, I would
Ha,
like to give the impact of SIPP scheme. So if
yeah.
the client want to go for SIPP scheme, then they need to get the scheme benefit through any facilitator. I'm also a
Okay.
facilitator, patent facilitator, and IP Mitra. So we are providing them the benefit of that scheme, and we are not charging anything out of that. Government will provide us the funds for providing the assistance to the entrepreneurs, and also not for the individual, but for the entrepreneurs. They need to be startups.
Startups.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
So Gauri, that's very informative. How to find IP, I mean, SIPP facilitators? Is it available in the portal?
It is available in the portal.
Okay.
There is a list of facilitators, and
Okay.
in that they can pick up the facilitators nearby, or also if they want to come to us as well, we will provide them the assistance.
Okay. So it is almost like pro bono for the inventor, but the professional is compensated by the government for their work. Okay. That's
Only
very
the
interesting.
minimum statutory fees or the filing fees need to be provided, like government charges need to be provided by the innovator, and professional fees is charged by the government.
Okay. That's very interesting. Thank you. I think many people will benefit from this piece of information because initial inventors, they are fund crunched, uh, and they will hesitate and shy away from getting the IP registration. This is very helpful. Okay. Deepti, you have raised your hand. You can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, hi Amrutha. I had another question in mind. When Gauri, Pooja, and Nidhi were sharing some of the examples of the real life patents that have already been given, I wanted to know if they have encountered any such examples where the patent has been filed in multiple different countries, and then the jurisdiction or the patent I mean, the laws are different, so the way they have drafted in one particular region is different from the other. So something in on that lines, if they could enlighten us on that, I think that would be a little helpful. So that's what I felt. Yeah, I wanted to put up this question.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Who would like to take that? Any interesting example that you could
have
disclose?
two I have two examples, but I'll talk about one. I think Rez, Nidhi, and Gauri can also talk about it. So we had a case where we had a combination of a medical device with a software. Now in India, it's not very easy to get a software patent. It's not easy to patent it. So what we did was we had filed a combination of IP for it. So we had a patent and a copyright for the software in India, but we also filed a similar thing through the PCT and national phase later on in US and in Europe. Now in US and Europe again, the case laws are what define what exactly you could protect. So at that point of time, we did include software at both the places, but the drafting was done differently uh, in comparison to the way the application was drafted in India. By excluding the software there, we had included it, and I am not sure if they got the grant on it or not, because I had left that position, so I don't know the status of that application. But yes, it was an interesting learning, because when you are navigating through different jurisdictions, they have different requirements. The drafting of the claims, the ways they are drafted, or even the language used in three different jurisdictions is completely different. The way we draft applications in India are quite different with the way it's drafted in US and in Europe. And then it is also interesting to note the tech transfer or the licensing process is also different in all three countries. They have different models of doing it. In India, it's still evolving. It's more advanced in US and bit less evolved than the US system is the European one. So India is still the last, but yes, the mechanisms are different. So when you are navigating as an IP attorney, or helping somebody in filing their IP, you also have to think about the end goal. What do you want to do? It's not just limited to filing the application. If there are any licensing aspects that you're looking at, so that also needs to be taken care.
Thanks, Pooja.
Thank you for
My
answering.
answer is also on a similar line. Like in India, software still is in nascent phase. Uh, IPO is like making certain different implementation in the law. So always showing software with some physical, yeah, hardware things is always required in India for getting the grant or getting it in next phase as compared to US and Europe. So the similar experience my also. Yeah.
Mhm. So,
Okay.
yeah, what happens now? Once we file for go for the PCT, and we will file for the ISA. We will go for the ISA, International Search Authority. After the search report, we can modify our patent according to the category. It is clear. It is there. So we can draft it or modify it, and then after we will prosecute with the multiple priorities in each and every country. So there is one that is the thing there. So in the PCT route, you will get a time limit of 30 to 31 months, and it is a different for different countries or zones. And yeah, so also the licensing aspect need to be covered according to that, and it should not infringe or invalidate the others' claims. It is also need to be validated. Yes.
Okay. Uh, yeah, PCT is an interesting route. Just for the audience, PCT is for international filing, and it is facilitated by the WIPO Madrid Convention. So, if you have a filing in India, you could take it internationally and file it in as many countries if you have a PCT application, and that gives you 30 months to decide which countries would be the best fit for your product or a innovation. So yeah, thanks Gauri for touching upon that. That's a very interesting aspect that you could amend the claims to fit the country. Okay, I think we have one more question. Lalantika, you can
Yeah,
unmute and ask.
yeah. So a question that I had was, what are some points that you encourage inventors to keep in mind to like build novelty in their product while filing for patents or building their inventions?
Okay. Any things to watch out to ensure that there is novelty and the grant is the highest probability? I mean, it
Yeah.
is something we see when it is granted, but what could ensure higher probability? I think that's what Lalantika wants to.
Yeah, so any innovation is not like a small or big innovation. If that innovation is going to help bird or human and going to solve their problem, it's novel and it is protectable invention. So that aspect is important in any innovation.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, there are
Go.
multiple um, sites that is open source like patents, Google Patents, PatentScope, eSpaceNet. So you can use that things, but to getting the novelty throughout the world, it is a very difficult task. So you need to search for each and every aspect of the patent. The feature should not be same similar. It should not be a mere arrangement or rearrangement. So reading the section 3 of the patent act, if you are filing in the India, and also if you are filing in the other countries, so according to that you need to see the sections and rules, and then after make the report, search report preparation. It is a very big task actually. And also if you can come with any loophole to make it patentable, uh, to modify it in a technical way to make it more technically advanced, and then it is also matching the criteria of novelty, then you can go for the patent filing.
So you endorse heavy research before concluding.
Yeah, I would
Yes.
like
Yes.
to add on that it's not just looking at the novelty that is critical. You also need to look at the inventive step because there are three criterias. You need to meet all three. Industrial application is still easy to cross. It's difficult to cross novelty and inventive step. But when you are starting any work, I would suggest that you start the novelty search or a landscape search beforehand, so that you know what is there, and don't get scared with what Corey just said that you have to go through different databases to look at it. Amrita is going to solve that problem and she would be coming out with the tool soon that would help you in searching it. So uh, that will give you the support where you need to focus on because you would be aware on what is already existing and you don't need to touch it for two reasons. You are reinventing the wheel. Secondly, you might be infringing on somebody else's right. So it's better to do that search along the way rather than waiting for creating the product completely and then doing it. The other advice is that don't talk about what you're doing right from the
Yes.
patience
It is going to kill your
Yeah.
novelty.
because you would be destroying your own novelty by talking about it.
Yeah.
When I with IIT, I used to have so many students who would come up to me and tell me, "Ma'am, I have put it up on YouTube," and I used to look at them
Oh.
quite interested. So it's this when you are into innovation, you have to be patient and keep it to yourself till you have a patent with you. If you have filed a patent, then you can shout from anywhere, telling that you have created this. But do ensure to carry out a landscape search before you get into doing anything.
That's the right advice, Pooja. It is a secret till it is granted or till it is published. So I think we have to honor that for our own good as inventors. Definitely a valuable advice. Um, Yeah, on that note, I think AI and technology has come handy to make the search better. Patent is also in the same sector, and you'll know more about it in coming days. And since we are talking about AI as assistive tool, there's a question from Harun Joshi. I think Harun is not able to unmute, so I'd read out the question. Um, can you provide any advice or best practices for navigating the patent application process in India, specifically for AI related technologies? So, this is my recent experience as well. The patent office has been very stringent in scrutinizing AI applications. So, any quick advice on what to do to ensure we are doing the best practices, we are doing everything needed on papers?
Keep your eyes open because the landscape is changing. Even US is still debating whether to be in a position to grant or not. So uh, Europe is also debating on it. India, I think we are going to start that debate soon. So it's better to keep an eye on it to see how the laws are changing because that will bring in a change in the way AI is looked at. Secondly, again, the same principles apply to it, uh, you know, to ensure that you have novelty, you have inventive step, and then again, you are not talking about it anywhere. So be careful about it. Even if you are giving out a tool for testing or anything, get an NDA signed with the other person, whomever you are doing it, because with AI, obviously, you need a lot of testing to be done. So get the NDAs signed, safeguard as much as you can. That's really going to be helpful for you.
Sure. Yeah. I think NDA is a best practice that can be endorsed to everyone across the IP life cycle to have the best practices in place and to ensure that um, we don't lose the novelty. Okay. Do we have any more questions? Any more questions from anyone? Deepti, do you still have a question? I see the hand raised. I'm not sure if it is from your previous question.
It's from my previous question.
Okay, okay, no problem. Okay, I think those were the questions, very interesting. IP is a niche sector, specifically patent is a niche sector. IP as a professional path is niche. So thanks for enlightening us with real life examples and your experience, because rather than a workshop, I think this would resonate with most of the people, hearing firsthand from the professionals themselves who quote real life examples. So thank you for your valuable time, Nidhi, Gauri, and Pooja. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope our audience also enjoyed it. And we have a lot to take home in terms of being enlightened. Uh, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Amrita.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Amrita.
everyone.
Thank you so much, and congratulations, Amrita, for completing the product challenge.
Yeah, actually, we are rolling out the product challenge now. So everyone, please hang on. I'll give the instructions for the product challenge now. Just a minute. So we are rolling out now, and the challenge persists till 4 p.m. We'll announce the winners tomorrow. So here is the
All right.
content. Yeah, thank you. So here is the content for the product challenge. Participants, please take a look. If we drop off from this call, you'll lose this content. I'll email it to you, but kindly copy this. The challenge is open from now till 4 p.m. and we'll announce the winners tomorrow. So tomorrow, please join us for a chat with Inventor. The Inventor has a patent in 22 countries, which is a very good feat in itself. So hear from her firsthand, and she is a successful entrepreneur after becoming an inventor. So you'll know the journey as well. And following that, we'll have Startup Gurus in the evening, 5 to 6 p.m. Hear from Startup Gurus on the journey in startup and how it aligns with the IP. And subsequently, we'll announce the winners. So definitely hang on. It's an interesting lineup, and you have a commitment of 1 to 2 hours a day. So. And you are hearing firsthand from seasoned professionals. So this is definitely something to look out for. I hope you have copied the content. I'll definitely email the content, but kindly copy, and then we can drop off. Um, yeah, I think, yeah, I've given 2 to 3 minutes, I guess, to copy the content. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for taking out time on a Saturday. I hope this was very insightful and it opened up a door of lot of knowledge for you. uh, Read about all of this, and we spoke about a lot of schemes. What I'll do is compile them as an email content and send it across to you. IP Mitra, SIPP scheme, what is technology transfer, and all of this. These may be jargons for people who are from product and technology. This is a niche area, so at least I'll compile them for you. Again, thank you for the guests for taking out time. Pooja, you have joined from across the globe. Thank you very much for joining in your night. Gauri and Nidhi, I can't thank you enough. Thanks for being so open and addressing all the questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Amrita. All the best, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.